Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to your social studies class, and we are studying chapter 3, that is from gathering to growing food. Hope you all are watching your videos again and again, but still we will start our class by revising the previous topics. Varieties of food. Different crops and different plants used to grow in different regions. Similarly, different animals require different climatic conditions to survive. Next is farming and herding. So, in earlier times, people have started engaging in agricultural activities. This is how they have become farmers as they look after the plants, and they also started keeping the animals, or they also started taking care of the animals, which proved to be very useful after a long time. This is how they became herders, or you can say cattle keepers. Domestication. When people grow plants and look after the animals, this process is known as domestication. A new way of life. In this, you have studied how people have settled at one place. As people have started doing agriculture, so they have to stay at one place and cannot move to another place. They produce grains which were used for different purposes. So the grains that were produced by the people at that time, they were used for different purposes. For example, they are used for gifting. They were also stored as food and many more. Storing animals. Animals, if reared properly, they can give us food. For example, milk, eggs, meat, etc. for a long time. First, farmers and herders. Scientists and archaeologists have found evidences of plants, animal bones, and burnt grains in places where the first farmers and animals herders lived. So, the scientists and archaeologists they have found some of the evidences of plants and animal bones and burnt grains. This is how we got to know what type of crop used to grow at that time, what type of animal used to live at that time, and many more things. So, this customs and practices is the new topic that we will cover today. Many of these farmers and herders lived in groups called tribes and followed certain practices that may have existed earlier. That means the people at that time they used to live in groups, and those groups are known as tribes. They have certain customs and practices that they used to follow. So, some of them are related to occupation. At that time, people are engaged in hunting, gathering, farming, herding, and fishing. Women were engaged in agricultural work. They are also engaged in threshing, husking, and grinding of the grains. Children, they look after the plants and also they drive away the animals so that they could not harm the grains. Men, they lead large herds of animals. That means they used to lead large group of animals. Both women and men, they both are engaged in some of the activities together or alone. That is cleaning of animals, making pots, making basket tools, and also making huts which work as their shelter in cold winds. Tribes have rich and unique cultural traditions, including their own language, music, stories, and paintings. So, how do we got to know about the earlier times? One of the factor is the archaeologist and the scientist, but also we got to know from our grandparents as they have told us in the form of stories, or you can say folklores. They have their own language, music, stories, paintings. They have their own traditions, which we got to know after so many years also. So, this is all that we'll study today, and in our next lecture, we will cover the more topics.